Should be good.
All
Oh,
right,
there you go. I can see it now too.
now we're recording. So welcome to episode 11 of the PPBDL YouTube channel. With us tonight is special guest, the commish of the league, Josh. Welcome.
What's going on, guys? Happy to be here for a few minutes with y'all, talking about whatever it is we can talk about right now.
Round of applause for the commish.
There's Jared. All right, so we're just going to do a quick one, 10, 15 minutes. It's going to be on Carter's team. But first I wanted to just kind of introduce the commish and then just get his thought process. And he brought it up on the first podcast, but for the YouTube channel, Josh, where did the idea of the league come from?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a long time ago now, but played in football mostly, going back a ways. And then I want to say it was around 2013, me and Beast, Derek created this dynasty league that was like auction based. And I think it was like 3-year contracts across the board for everybody. And then if you wanted to extend them, they got increased in price by a certain value. It was in depth, but it was relatively basic compared to ours. And then it kind of just fell apart after 1 year. And so a couple years later, him and I were talking again, and I just really wanted to like dive back in to the dynasty baseball thing. I think that's one of the best ways to play baseball. It's probably the best sport you can do dynasty is baseball. So yeah, I just ran with it and started coming up with all these crazy rules and trying to be as accurate and real world as possible, and bounce a bunch of stuff off of Derek like every day it seemed like, and then yeah, just tried to fill it, and was lucky enough that I struck gold with pretty much 10 out of the 12 guys. That all of us, or 10 of us from that original 2016 season, are still here. So yeah, it's kind of just worked like amazingly. Is better than I could have hoped. If you would have told me back in 2016 that I'd be doing a fucking YouTube video right now, with a couple guys from the league that are in Hawaii, nonetheless, I would never have believed you. So yeah, here we are.
Awesome.
If I remember correctly, you posted on Facebook, right, Josh? Because me and Eddie were working together in Colorado, and I'm almost positive I called you over and I was like, "Yo, sir, check this out. My dude from high school is putting together a dynasty baseball league. Like, we got to do it."
Yeah, so it's funny, like I said, Derek was in right away, and then Dodger Blue Ryan is Derek's cousin-in-law. So, and I had done some fantasy leagues with Ryan before, so he kind of got Ryan. It's kind of funny, like almost everybody in this league has like a pair that they came in with, and then yeah, it was kind of difficult to fill, because it was definitely a more in-depth, like hardcore league. So I wasn't just trying to get any Joe Schmo off the street and like that I had ever met in my life. And so, yeah, I posted on Facebook, and I know, Jared, you responded. And then, like I said, you had kind of brought in Eddie. And I don't remember if it was Devin or David, but one of them like responded as well, and then brought the other in, or something like that. And so, yeah, just kind of piece by piece all came together. It was pretty cool how it all worked out.
Yeah, and then the ads that you had mentioned, 10 of us are still from the original, but yeah, the ads with Carter definitely being the comedy relief in the text threads and the guy in the videos that we like to pick on a lot. All right, so let's move along to, I think Carter actually just had posted in the text thread some of the MLB rumors that are floating right now about possibly trying to play through or push through at the spring training locations and kind of scrapping the divisions for whatever kind of modified season. They were looking at doing just the cactus and the grapefruit league. So any baseball at this point is better than no baseball, but what are your thoughts on how the season could shape up if that's how we go?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I'm just so desperate for baseball, but I just don't see how it's a valid or even like smart idea to do, let alone the heat here, obviously in Arizona. The average June temperatures and July temperatures are like 108. So, and you're going to either have to do like triple headers at Chase Field, or just have most teams play outdoors, obviously, in these spring training facilities. And you're still going to have like that interchange of media, of staff, of teams, of players, of everybody. You're just still going to have like all that close contact. I just think until we get like as a public the go ahead to like, hey, this thing is under control, you can go outside and hang out with your friends. Like I think it's kind of um, foolish almost in a way to think that we should be playing baseball or can be playing baseball safely.
Hey, you got anything, Jared?
So I'm kind of two minds, right? The first sentiment I completely agree with. Any baseball is great. Most of us are playing the show or rewatching old games as they air on our local networks in our markets and stuff like that. I'm going to applaud baseball for actually trying. Like the NBA, basketball, football, they're all just kind of like hockey, throwing it to the wind, saying fuck it. But baseball is actively trying to make something work, and I'm not at all opposed because looking at uh, standings, it would be the Cubs, Giants, Diamondbacks, Rockies, Athletics. That's kind of funny.
Love that.
Like that's
Love that
not.
division.
Yeah,
Love it.
that's just like you'd never get that. You know what I'm saying? And then
No.
if you go over to the Grapefruit League, you've got the Red Sox, the Twins, the Braves, the Rays, and the Orioles. So some familiarity there, but then you've also got the Braves being thrown in. So I applaud baseball for it. I don't think it's viable. I don't know how the players would play with no fans in the stands, but I mean, any baseball is better than none at this point.
I
Yeah,
agree. I agree with that, Jared.
it would only take one dude testing positive, right? And then it's kind of like, okay, well, we got to shut this down. So I'm on.
Even a media member or something, or a media member, a custodian for all, it just takes one. Yeah, and the whole thing's like, well, we got 2 games out of this, and maybe it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, we started a crisis again. I'm at least hoping for. I don't know how they would even do a kind of a tournament or anything at this point, just to salvage some portion of this season. Uh, I know the MLB The Show just started that player live stream today,
Mhm.
and a couple of the guys are bidding on it. I think my pick definitely would have been Garrett, but Trevor May I know is a huge Twitch streamer too, and I saw like he got like smoked today. So I think Joey Gallo's on top of the standings right now. So what are your guys' thoughts on the Twitch being like the only real sporting type of events we can have right now?
I'm here for the video games and the esports getting their time to shine right now and taking over. And like I said, any baseball is is good baseball. And yeah, Trevor Mays, I picked 2 guys. He's one of my guys, so I'm not too happy after day one. But I did pick Amir Garrett, who's went 3-1. So I'm on both sides of the coin there. But it was fun. I watched the live stream for a little bit today, or this evening. It was cool. And yeah, I'm just excited to get our league going. That we us three have been talking about for a little bit, and looks like we're gonna have 8 guys or so. So it'll be pretty cool. And yeah, I'm a super video game nerd, so I just love playing baseball. Especially. So I feel. But I know Jared, you're the same too.
Yeah, I'm all about it. I took Tommy Canley and David Dahl because one, Tommy Canley, I guess, has just been just wrecking shop on everybody in the Yankees organization they've been playing the show with. So that was a little insider baseball that I had. So I took Canley and then David Dahl. David Dahl's wife, ironically, is a sports agent, and she's Patrick Mahomes' agent, if y'all didn't know that. So there you go, little cross football and baseball for you. But yeah, I love it. I love seeing the players' personalities. I love Joey Gallo on and off the field. And then watching Blake Snell just utterly melt down on that stream earlier was fucking hilarious.
He was so
I'm
pissed
about
about
it.
Amir Garrett dropping a bunt to win. He was so pissed.
And it was awesome to watch.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Jared, you actually did research on which player to pick.
Well, I actually read that in an article like last week, or I guess I think it was Aroldis Chapman gave some sort of interview saying that Tommy Canley was just an asshole when he came to the show and he was just wrecking shop on everybody.
All right, so the main reason I wanted Josh to try and hop on for a couple minutes tonight is Jared and I have actually recorded Carter's team preview for his farm system, but it didn't save. My computer like froze. So we're gonna get to Carter's team at the end of this, but a big portion of our topic was, what happens if the season doesn't occur? What do we do with I think we're what, $1,200 for the pot now?
Yep.
So
Yep.
we started floating the idea of, all right, with a whole year off, we definitely need to make the destination draft thing a reality. But what do we do with what do we do with the pot? Do we keep it? Do we roll it into something, make it double for next year? Do we make a kick-ass trophy, or do we use it for some type of destination thing? And I think in the show notes I had just texted was we had talked about maybe doing an Airbnb and just having like a baller draft,
Yeah.
or looking at, depending on if the Diamondbacks open the season at home, maybe like trying to grab a suite or something with that cash, and then playing next year either at a cheap or no entry fee at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm always up for suggestions. I try to be, I'm definitely the dictator in our group chat, but I try to be as, democratic as possible too with a lot of things. And so, I'll definitely put things out to vote if need be, or I'll take suggestions from everybody because you guys all come up with great ideas. My initial thought or idea would be to just honestly, if we play no games at all this season, just send the money back to you guys, your buy-ins, if you want it, or hold it as your buy-in for next year for 2020 or 2021. So yeah, I mean, if we wanted to all say that this year of 2020 was like a investment, if you will, in 2021, I can get behind that. Like you said, $1,200, I can go towards a suite. I think it's actually around $1,200 to rent one of the suites to do your fantasy football draft at Chase Field. So maybe somewhere similar for next March or next April. Like I said, if they're home, or like you said, if they're home, or yeah, I mean, hell, if we do this thing and we get the boys from out of town fly in and we do something in Phoenix, we get an Airbnb for the weekend. Or shit, I'm down to let's take this up to Vegas or something. We use that. It's $1,200 we can use.
Oh shit.
I'm down with that too. So, I'm up for whatever. Honestly, it's just what I'm not gonna make a definitive decision unless it needs to be made. In the sense of like we got 2 guys want to do this, 3 want to do this, 1 wants that. Then I'll maybe say, what, let's just give everybody back their $100. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I'm open to suggestions.
I'm loving that suite idea, by the way. I mean, how sick would that be? Because we run out of suite most of the time. If you run out a whole suite, you get your name shouted out on the big board. So, you get PPBDL, welcome to Chase Field, Phoenix Fantasy Baseball Dynasty League. And then we're official. Then we've got recognition, YouTube channel.
And we can all wear our shirts.
Wearing the polos. Yep.
Yep.
We'll wear the polos. We'll drink a bunch of beer and we'll do a draft.
Hey man, when my basketball of a team family here, I'm about to make a large chunk of money with this stimulus check whenever it hits. So I can definitely invest it in a destination draft. So
yeah, I'm totally
and the flights
down with
we were
that.
looking at, yeah.
I know Hammy was talking about it, a couple months ago, back when we first floated the idea. I think I was looking at like March 1st would technically be equivalent to where we usually have the auction. So, and that's a weekend. We can do all 3 of them packed into one. We'll get amateur draft, auction, and RFA, restricted free agency, all packed in one weekend, get it all done. If that's what everybody wants to do, but I'm not going to punish anybody that can't make the trip either. You got Ryan, Allen, Derek, and Hammy are both out of state, or all 4 out of state as well, along with you 2. So if somebody can't make it, I want to still be able to do something like this, some Zoom shit or something, for them too, to be able to participate. Definitely.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we're just going to have a lot of free time to make this discussion, and plans can change. We're a year away at this point, so yeah, we could all agree on it, and then something could happen. But definitely would be interested to hear what everyone else thinks in the league on what we could do with the money, if it's just roll it over, refund, or do we put it towards something. That's definitely something that would keep us within the league and baseball while we sit here and wait for something to happen. I don't know how much more time you got, Josh. We're at 15 minutes right now, so I think we're just gonna do.
I'm gonna run. I think if you guys want to tackle the Carter's prospects that he just recently came into from you, mostly Eddie. So I appreciate you guys having me on for a little bit here. I definitely want to make this destination draft happen. I'm super stoked to get started on this show league that we're going to get going probably in the next week or so. And yeah, keep doing your thing, fellas.
All right. Take care, Josh. Thanks.
Yep. Later, man.
All right, so I didn't introduce him at the beginning, but he's a show staple, Jared. So I had mentioned
Yeah.
We've done Carter's team before, and I saw Megan in the background, so I don't know if she's just off screen or not. But thank you for letting me borrow him again for the exact same show. Uh, so Carter's
She's
team,
used to it by now.
yeah, Carter's team. He's got an interesting one where he came in the third season of the league, so his first 2 years were not his picks for his farm system, and he really doesn't have a lot of picks later on. 18, 19, he had a couple third rounders, and then in this year's 2020 draft he didn't draft any at all. So one, if Carter
Yep.
hung around or is even listening to this, I feel sorry for. I'm very appreciative of him joining the league and managing the team, and he's really rebuilt it the way he wants to. But that farm system sucks, the one he had to take over. So had he not made these moves towards the end of last year and then this offseason, his farm system would be down there at the bottom.
Yeah, correct. And I mean, he did make a lot of good moves, like we had talked about previously. But most of it, you can tell his strategy revolves around hitting. Very much I'm going to throw a whole bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks when it comes to pitching.
Yeah, and we mentioned it before, and we should have just brought it up with Josh because he still has three contracts on his pitching side that are not allowed to be in the minors. So
We did forget that.
but maybe it doesn't even matter this year. So his farm system on the hitting side looks stacked, but a lot of the guys don't register as prospects. So Austin Riley and Alvarez and Robert is going to lose that eligibility pretty quick. But he definitely has the studs there, and we had talked about it in a couple other videos. There's just nowhere to play them. So just if you want to give me one hitter, and then we'll switch over to his pitchers that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, the big one for me is Nick Madrigal. I mean, because everybody knows about Luis Robert, Austin Riley Alvarez, and then that quad A guy and Franklin Barreto. But I mean, Nick Madrigal, the dude's a stud. He went like eight straight games without striking out at one point. Not a lot of power, high OBP. Probably going to hit up top that lineup over in Chicago. So that's kind of like my pick of sleeper for his hitting prospects. The other guys are studs. Riley and Alvarez aren't prospects anymore, and Robert's already got a major league contract for like $36 million or something. So nothing really needs to be said about those guys.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, three of those guys were my guys. I'm very high on them to begin with because I drafted them. But yeah, I think he's done well to revamp his farm system. On the hitting side, in a roundabout way, he ended up with Dustin May, who was a fourth member of my team last year. He's kind of stuck on the Dodgers. What are they going to do with him? Or were they going to make him the 5 starter? Were they going to have him come in and out of the bullpen, maybe pitch, start a game here, spot start type thing. I think he's just going to get dicked around for a while until they can really find a spot for him in the rotation.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Dustin May is going to be one of those enigmas because he does have such high upside with his arsenal. But yeah, where do you put him? I mean, Dodgers re-signed Alex Wood this year too, so it just gets even murkier. I would assume that this year is all bullpen time with a spot starter too, like you said, and then maybe next year he gets the 4th or 5th starting slot.
Right, yeah, and we said most of his pitching is a crapshoot, just kind of taking some lottery tickets. Who's a guy that you're still looking at, got your eye on for him, his farm system on the pitching side?
So the one that I don't want to sleep on is not some of these other guys that are like Framber Valdez, where just going to kind of be long relief for Houston, but Brady Singer. Brady Singer, big right-hander, number 2 Royals prospect. He's outside the top 100 for me, sitting at 107. But I mean, with pitchers, you know how these guys go. They can fly up and down the boards, depending how they do in their league. So I've got my eye on Brady Singer as probably an up-and-coming pitcher for him.
Yep, agree. I think the Royals have a pretty good farm system now with Witt and Singer. And then whoever the other pitcher was for the Royals, I can't even think of it now. I don't remember it off the top of my head. But, yeah, I am a big fan of Brady Singer. I was surprised that he was actually picked up or traded over. I don't remember which trade it was that got Singer to his team. But
Got it from Hammy, I believe.
yep, it's just one of those the farm systems that I don't really trust, and one of them is definitely the Royals. Um,
Yeah.
so he's got a lot of flyers on his pitching side. What he what he does have, which is pretty unique, is he has a draft pick in the 2021 draft, a second rounder. Not really sure what he's going to do with it. He didn't have any picks this year, and let's see, dating back to 2017, it wasn't his team, but he had no picks. 2018, he had a third rounder. 2019, he had two third rounders, and
Two
then
third rounders.
this last year he didn't have any. So he's definitely not one for the amateur draft. But going forward, he's got one pick, the second rounder and then 2021, and then two in the 22, and then three in 23. So I doubt he keeps them because he's got a pretty stacked or full farm system to begin with. But do you think he keeps that second rounder, or does he move it?
So I'm kind of on the fence because he saw how this 2020 draft went down, and you know how all of us, it was kind of like a feeding frenzy of prospects. So depending how this draft class shakes out, I don't know. I think if I was a betting man, I'd say 80-20. He ships it off to somebody. But you know there is that 20% where who knows? Maybe he's just trying to strike gold in the second round.
Yeah. So for a grade for Carter's farm system, he's got a unique one with a lot of these guys not really qualifying anymore. So I think he's towards the bottom of the league when it comes to the prospects on it. When I do my roto ranking, essentially, he doesn't have. I think he's got like 4 or 5 guys in the top 100, and then a lot of late round or later or uh, like 200, 300 range type guys. Maybe they hit, maybe they don't. And then, looking at his farm system next year, none of these guys are going to qualify. I'd assume Madrigal gets called up shortly here if the White Sox are going to start pushing to try and go all in. Maybe not this year just because what happens with the season. But where do you have his farm system in your rankings?
Yeah, so I've got him as a C plus, and he's probably number 9 or 10. I mean, it's kind of a toss up at that point out of 12, but it's the ultimate outlier. He's got the extreme of the number 2 overall prospect, Luis Robert, behind Wander Franco, and then by my rankings, anyways, and then all the way down to 472 with James Capralian and 453 with Grant Holmes. So it's the ultimate boom or bust. So couple that with those studs that he's got that don't have prospect eligibility, it's a C plus for me because the hitting is pretty elite when it comes to prospect and young contracts, but the pitching is just so bad.
Yeah, I don't know why he's holding on to a lot of these guys on the pitching side. Maybe just to see what happens with them when they make it to the majors. But
Yep.
you can't do a lot with your farm system anymore with the rules that are put in place. And hopefully we get more stringent next year where once they're up, and they can't go back down. But I don't have anything else on Carter's farm team. He made great moves to make it, manageable and reputable for the time being until these guys get called up. Circling back, I wanted to just see if you had anything else for his team or for, what's going on with baseball right now and in the league. You have anything?
Not particularly. The only thing for the league I would say is it's pretty evident how dedicated we all are to this because everybody's kind of banded together, through this storm that we're navigating, which is the coronavirus. So I love the group chat. I think it's fucking hilarious. My wife always laughs at me because like I'll look at my phone and I start laughing because somebody sent something funny in the chat. So I love that we're all adapting and overcoming.
Yeah, and so we're out in Hawaii. We're at least 3 hours behind everybody, I think. And I don't know what it is with my phone. When I do get the text message, it's just a flood of them, and it usually comes at like 5:30 in the morning. Like my Apple Watch will start ding, 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 and I'll have like 50 text messages to read. So hopefully I can get that problem resolved with either an upgraded phone or trying to get AT&T to fix whatever's wrong with it. The last thing I had, the Royals' other pitcher was Daniel Lynch, was one of their other studs that I liked in their farm system. So we're on 25 minutes. I got nothing else. Hopefully everyone's staying safe. The wife is working on any Hawaiian type masks or using any fabric that we have here. So if anyone needs a mask, just hit me up. The wife's sewing, 50 to 100 of them every day. So hopefully everyone's safe. You got anything else, Jared?
Nope. I got to train some soldiers starting next week, and I'll be wearing my mask as well. So, this everybody's affected. I'll say that.
Yeah. We've got the Army regulations of we have to have specific ones in specific colors or patterns. So
Yeah. So, one last note is for everybody in the league that's not military, like Eddie and myself. Welcome to the fucking Thunderdome, bitches. Like this is the shit we deal with all the time. Can't go within a 250-mile radius of base. You can't leave this. You can't do anything without asking. Shit's only open this time to this time. Welcome to the Thunderdome.
yeah, I'm sure you're in a bunch of other like random Army or military Facebook groups where you just see the memes nonstop of like, oh, can't do what you want to. You're being told what to do. Welcome to the Army. So
welcome. Y'all are part of us now.
well, hopefully we can return to a state of normalcy. I think the peak in Hawaii is coming up here. I think it was projected like early May or mid-May now. Might get pushed back, but hopefully, once again, everyone can stay safe. And hopefully this brings somewhat of a baseball joy to whoever's watching it.
Amen to that.
All right, Jared, take care. Have a good weekend. Happy Easter.
Hey, you too, brother. We'll talk to you next time.